Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back for ORL Season 11, Round of 14 here at the famous Monza circuit in Italy, Tuscany. Matthias lines up on pole ahead of Photon and Hypers. It was a very close qualifying session as a new boy, Leopard, picks up a 4th place. Triton Lehman takes a 5th ahead of the second Red Bull of Napadovsky as Kalsfer lines up in 7th alongside driver of the day from Spa, SHZ Zones. Mark takes 9th ahead of Wow. Krusix lines up in 11th ahead of Soren, who was unable to get a clean lap in. Kaboom takes 13th ahead of 14th, with Rip SN in 15th ahead of Shad. Andedata and Sven Zerner were unable to complete any laps in qualifying. In the driver's standings, Photon leads Hypers by just 4 points, with Napadovsky almost 100 points back. Formula Danny is in 4th ahead of Lehman and Mark. Hayes is in 7th with Ethnic TRN in 8th ahead of rising Matthias and Wow in 10th place. In the Constructors, Toro Rosso are leading just 8 points ahead of Mercedes, with Red Bull 50 points back in 3rd. Williams are climbing up courtesy of the fantastic results of Lehman and Matthias in the previous few races. They're in 4th, 20 points ahead of Alfa Romeo, who are in 5th. The drivers make their way through the Parabolica on their final, on their formation lap. Matthias is looking to put a wrench into the works of Photon and Hypers' championship battle. That being said, though, Leopard will be looking to have something to say in his debut ORL race. Keep an eye out for Sven Zerner as well, F1 esports driver from 2017, finished 3rd in the season as well. He will be rising through the grid very quickly. We also had a safety car here last year. That may be something that the drivers will have to be careful of, as Triton Matthias lines up on pole. Eyes are all on the lights. 5 red lights. And it's lights out, and away we go for the Italian Grand Prix. It's a very good start from Photon, as we're going to ride on board with Hypers, who's going to get picked off by Leopard on the start. But Photon looking aggressive, heading into the Rettifilio chicane, and he will pick up the position. But Matthias has the inside. Photon gets a better drive and will take the lead. Back behind Hypers is a side-by-side with Leopard through the Ascari chicane, and they may even be able to have a little look at Matthias heading into the Roja chicane. Hypers will have a go. There's contact, and they're going to be sent off. Matthias will be forced to cut the corner, and now we're going to see Leopard having a go at Hypers into Lesmo 1. He'll push Hypers wide. Hypers will rejoin the track, and now Lehman down the inside into Lesmo 2. Hypers will be able to get a decent run now on the outside as he makes his way down the straight. There's contact between the two as Lehman's pushing Hypers wide, and there's contact, and I do believe that was Lehman's fault. Hypers into the wall. His wheel is gone. That is a massive accident, and Kaltzefer gets caught up in that as well. His luck of a bad start seems to continue, but Hypers is out of the race. Lehman is out of the race. Sven Zerner was unable to start. There is no safety cars. Shad has a little bit of a look at Rip SN, but that was a horrendous down the hill, and we're seeing so many drivers peel into the pits, as this is absolutely crazy scenes at the end of the first lap here at Monza. We talked about safety cars, as Napadovsky very close to Leopard. Kopi's going to have a go heading into turn 1 round the outside, and he will pick up the position. Work of the Ferrari and the Mercedes, but with Mark having a DRS, he's going to make it a little bit tricky for Soron. Mark around the outside into turn 1 will be able to pick up the position, but let's ride on board with Soron to find a way through quickly, or he's going to use up the best of these tires. Zones run wide, and Soron dives it down the inside. In close enough, he will have DRS and a slipstream. Oh, but he loses the back end, and Soren's into the wall. He bounces off the track, and he will collide with a Zones. Zones doesn't lose any front wing, but that is Soren out of the session. Crazy stop. You never know what can happen, but both drivers will prepare the medium tires, and okay, the game's bugging. Photon will come out ahead, and Matthias I'm not quite sure what happened, but oh, Andinator runs wide, and Napadovsky, will he take a look into Lesmo 1? No, he won't, but just as predicted, Andinator really getting in the way through the Lesmos, and now Leopard is right behind. Backs off, tries to get the best of runs as Mark picks up another time penalty. Napadovsky moves to the outside, DRS is enabled. And we're going to be seeing Matthias from Matthias' perspective. Leopard picks up the position as Andinator looks aggressive. Matthias trying to find a way through, but just unable to do so. Also, Matthias is part of this as well. He picks up the fastest lap of the race and will be looking to excite this battle. Leopard down the inside into turn 1 will pick up the position without too much of an issue. Have the run down the inside, and down the inside he will go as Matthias. Will he potentially be getting caught out by this? Napadovsky will have a bad run, and now Matthias side by side with Napadovsky out of the Retifilio chicane. Matthias will squeeze Napadovsky just a little bit as Lehman picks up a 3-second time penalty. Napadovsky potentially will have a look as Matthias dives it down the inside of the Sauber, or the Alfa Romeo, I should say. And Napadovsky will follow through into Lesmo 1. Photon, though, very close to Kopi coming out of the Parabolica. Kopi will peel into the pits, and Chad will follow suit. And he picks up a 5-second time penalty for speeding. A very late decision. Calcifer, though, very close onto Crucix as we head in towards the Retifilio chicane. Calcifer will go to the outside. Crucix tries to defend. Andinator. Mode 3 ERS. DRS enabled. And down the inside he will go and pick up the position without an issue as a second. Dovsky is very close. He's going to have a look on the outside into the Retifilio chicane. Inside for Turner 2. Will pick up the position, but Leopard now is going to have a good drive. This is all working into the hands of Matthias, who will be able to pull away. But Leopard around the outside into Curva Grande. Should have the inside into the Roja chicane, but Napadovsky will go defensive. Leopard will back out. Will look to get the run onto his teammate as Napadovsky has a moment. Leopard looks for the inside, but Napadovsky squeezes him and falling back, and Leopard is going to have a go. Down the inside we go. Down the start finish straight. It is a 3-second gap to Photon, and Photon really needs these two to battle. It's up to 3.5 seconds now as we enter the Retifilio chicane. I'm not quite sure what's happened to Mark. Mark is battling with Zones here. He's going to look for the inside, but Zones goes defensive. I don't think it's quite enough. Lehman should be coming out on top, no matter how you look at this. Mark will have a go around the outside, but Matthias and Lehman are battling. Sorry, Matthias and Leopard are battling. Matthias has a bit of a moment. Leopard is on that 3-second bubble, so it's close as you like. There's a yellow flag in Sector 3. I'm not quite sure what it is. As we just scroll through the orders so quickly. Kaboom looking to have a go at Calcifer as well for 9th place. Calcifer will be forced to yield. He'll drop down to 10th. Chad and Kopi still battling it hard. Photon, though, will be picking up the win on track anyway. He has no ERS remaining. Leopard should be taking first after penalties kick in. Matthias needs to get within about 2/10 of Leopard. It's going to be close. Photon picks up the win. Leopard will jump ahead. Matthias will not. He actually has 3 seconds worth of penalties. So, final confirmation then. Leopard takes the win ahead of Photon, Matthias, and Napadovsky. Kopi picks up 5th as Rip jumps ahead of Shad after time penalties kick in. Andinator takes 8th as Calcifer takes 9th ahead of Kaboom in 10th. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and we are joined by race winner. Oh, pardon me, not race winner. We are joined by both Triton drivers, Mark and Hypers. Let's start off with you, Matthias, because you are having a fantastic race. And we'll start off with the end, because you were right with Photon for pretty much the entire race. And then in the pit stops, you dropped behind Napadovsky. Did you have to change your front wing? What was going on there?
Yeah, I got 5-second penalty, stop and go penalty, because I got a illegal overtake on Hypers on first lap. So yeah. I mean, it's a shame because I could fight for the win, because I knew I have really good pace, but yeah, it's ultimately I'm glad I finished third. Yeah, third. So it's good that I'm finished on podium with this penalty.
And I was going to bring it back to that battle into the second chicane where you ran wide, but yeah, you picked up that 5-second time penalty. Talk us through that first lap in general.
I got not the great start, and Poton overtook me in the first corner, and then I just tried to stick with him, and I didn't expect Hypers to try to overtake me, but I guess he just missed his braking point or something, and yeah, I had to run wide to avoid him. And fortunately, I didn't get wing damage or damage. Yeah.
Heading over to you, Mark. Incidents once again. You were looking somewhat strong, and then a pit stop to the right at the end of the race, and then that final three-way battle coming in. How's the race from your perspective?
I don't really have comments for that. Was kind of a parking lot in the second chicane in lap 1, and then yeah, was lucky that I could dodge the incident on the second DRS straight. Other than that, pretty boring race.
And then that last lap, because you had a three-way battle going into the final lap, and it was looking very tight, but you were able to come out on top with those fresh soft tires.
Yeah, was nothing special in my opinion, but zones left me absolutely no room. I mean, I wanted to try to overtake him right away in the second chicane, but then he just, I was inside, and then he just closed the door on me right at the end when I was also almost alongside him, so it was a bit hairy, but yeah. Just wanted to prove a point that I could have had the pace without the incident, so yeah.
Well, final word from you then, heading into Singapore, how do you rate your chances there?
Like the track, but never raced in this game on this track, so we'll see.
Well, thank you everyone very much for joining me, and I hope to see you all next time out at Singapore. That is all we have time for. Thank you guys very much for tuning in. If you haven't already, do hit us up with a follow on Twitter where you can keep up to date with everything that's going on related to ORL. We'll be back next week, 7:30 p.m. GMT for round 15 at Singapore. Stay tuned, stay fast, and good night.